Hey guys, this is Jake O'Connor. This is for Informations 171. Today we're going to be playing League of Legends, and we're going to try to be informative on what champ I like to play. So, obviously, Jake O'Connor, Final Project. And since we're playing League of Legends today, we're going to be learning about my favorite champ. My favorite champ is Sylas, and we're going to be learning about some of his strengths, some of his weaknesses, and how we're going to play around those. So, for starters, Sylas is a melee AP carry. Some of his strengths are that since he is melee, he can have some lane dominance, but at the same time, since he is also melee, since he is melee, he struggles into some range matchups. So some range matchups would be Anivia, Syndra, some just control mages that aren't great. So we're going to be hopping into game really quick, and so here we go. It's just going to take a quick second to load. But since some of his, like I was saying, some of his strengths are melee, and his weaknesses also can be melee as well. So here we are in game. So when I start the game, we have an option of what starter items we want to go. Me personally, I like doing the Doran's Ring Star. It's a very comfortable, very safe play style. So let's go ahead and buy that. So when we start into game, we're going to be going to top lane, and we also have my friend Andrew here. Andrew is going to be doing a 1v1 with us, so Andrew.
How's it going, guys? And I'm going to be playing Gnar. I'm the top lane main, and this is one of my stronger champions.
Yeah. So since Andrew is playing Gnar, we are going to start in the 1v1. So let's get into some of Sylas's abilities. So Sylas's Q is called Chain Lash. So it's an ability that you throw it forward and it does damage at the end of it, and after a few seconds it explodes and does more damage. Now, an interesting thing about Sylas is that his passive actually goes with his abilities. So once you use one of his abilities, you get a stack of his passive. Stack of his passive is an AoE damage ability. So when we get into laning phase, usually what I like to do is I like to wait a little bit. I don't like to immediately start going and fighting the champ, because we don't want to immediately start taking damage. So we're going to start hitting minions, and when we hit the minions, we get gold. So this gold is going to be very useful for about probably 5 to 6 minutes into the game. We're going to try to start getting our items. So since my friend Andrew here is a ranged champ, this is where one of the weaknesses for Sylas comes in. You got to be really careful not to be getting hit with these auto attacks, because if he pokes us out of lane like he's trying to right now, I need to concede these minions here. Now, if I concede these minions, he could have some lane dominance. So I'm going to go ahead and start poking him out. So when I start poking him out with Q, it's going to do a little damage, and I need to keep running back and forth. It's quite annoying, but it's actually okay. We want this wave state to be close to tower, so in a real game, we're going to have a jungler come down and try to kill him. So let's go ahead and upgrade ability 2, which I like to do E. So E is a little dash. So you press E and you dash, and you get that stack of that passive. If you press E again, you get another stack. Obviously here I'm getting pushed into tower, and my friend Andrew is just constantly poking me out. So some of the abilities I like to, summoner spells I like to take, which are these. It's Flash and Ignite. These abilities I like to take because you can have very good lane presence when you, while in lane. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to try to engage on him. So my ability combo would usually start out with a Q to get him poked down. So let me upgrade it one more time. So I'm going to start out with a Q, and I hit him. So I hit him one time, and I got a stack of this passive, but I'm going to go all in now. So I'm going to start with E, walk up, and auto him. I got that passive stack. I'm going to try to E again and get another passive stack. I'm going to back up a little bit because he may try to go for a engage and do a lot of damage, but if he gets too close, I'm going to press W, and I get to heal off of that. I'm going to walk back so I don't take a little bit of poke. And now we're just going back to the laning phase over and over. That's what we're going to be doing. Now, interesting part about Silas's W is that it also heals him, like I just said. So it actually allows us to go in, take a little bit of damage, but then quickly heal it back. So I'm going to walk up now, and I'm going to try to go in for a kill. So you got to make sure, since I took this Ignite Summoner spell, I'm going to have a lot of kill pressure here. So I'm going to go fully in. So I'm going to start out with E, and he jumped forward. I took another E. I'm going to E again. I'm going to Q him. I'm going to auto. I'm going to ignite and auto again. So I got first blood here. So I'm actually doing pretty well in laning phase. Got to make sure I get these minions too. So we're good in laning phase. So I'm going to upgrade Q one more time. I'm going to keep autoing these minions, and at this point it's okay. This lane state is pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and press B. So once you press B, you're going to start a recall. This recall is going to be very important to laning phase because we want to get these items. So Andrew, I know you don't play Silas, but you play a lot of Gnar. Do you have any questions about like Silas's laning phase or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually do. I was wondering, what are the instances that you would decide to take, since I'm a top lane main, I take TP most of the time.
Yeah.
What are the instances that you would decide to take teleport or an alternative summoner spell rather than going the ignite?
So actually that's very interesting. Some Silas players do go TP. The only reason that you would go TP though would be in an instance that you know for a fact that you're going to lose. If you know for a fact 100% you're going to lose that lane, you got to be really careful because as I showed earlier today, or not earlier in the video, I was getting pushed into lane. So if I'm getting pushed in and I know I don't have kill pressure, I'm going to have to TP back to lane. So go ahead and Jake, go ahead and push in this wave right now. And notice, so he's level 6 right now. So if you notice, I can't really fight him yet. I'm just taking poke, and he's going to be trying to play very, very aggressive into me. I'm just taking poke, and I don't really have a way to deal with this poke because it's going to go into my lane. So this would be like one of the instances that I would take TP. But again, since I'm Silas, I'm a little ahead. I can go ahead and try to kill him. I'm going to go ahead and press R here on him. So now that I have his ult, this is very, very cool thing about Silas is that when you are playing Silas, you actually don't have an ult. Instead, you take your enemy's ult. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use Gnar's ult. That is my ult. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to press 4. I knocked him into tower, and I'm just fighting him right now. I'm just going in, I'm pressing Q, getting these passive stacks. And notice how he's using his champ has a ability, or his passive, allows him to transform into this big monster here. I need to be very careful of that. In laning phase, when you're playing Silas, you want to make sure that you always have this W up. You want to make sure that you're always healthy. So right now, I'm kind of in a situation where my friend Andrew is he's going to be like poking me down, and I'm going to show one of the weaknesses of Silas right now. So again, I keep saying like, oh, since you're melee, you got to be careful. I don't really have a way out of this. Like I am just walking up, I'm getting poked. Now I'm gonna try to fight him here. I have enough W. I'm going to try to find him and get this heal off. Maybe I can try to go in for a kill here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and press E. I'm going to flash in and immediately press W. I got a little bit of a heal, but as you can tell, since I'm melee, he's just running away. Now, how are we going to deal with that in lane is you're going to be wanting to use your Q a lot. You're going to be wanting to be maxing W or Q, and you're going to be trying to just use that poke. We're going to be using that poke is probably the most important part about playing Silas, because if you try to go all in, it's not going to work. You're going to show your hand a little too early, and you're just going to die. Now, Jake, Andrew, sorry, do you have any questions about like Silas all-ins or anything like that?
Yeah, does the ult tend to vary between champions and how impactful it can be in a 1v1? Because some champions might have stronger ults into their kit because their other 3 abilities aren't as strong. Does that tend to happen?
Yes, absolutely, actually. So since you're playing Gnar right now, Andrew, you are getting, so I have your ult is like it's super important because, or sorry, impactful because you throw them into a certain direction. Where if I'm playing another champ where like Anivia, uh, it's not as useful in like a team fighting situation. But we'll go ahead here and end this game really quick. And we're going to head and go into what we may have learned. So, what did we learn today about Silas? So, some of his power spikes, like I mentioned, is that level 3 to level 6. So, that level 3 is when you get all 3 of your abilities, you're going to be able to go in a little bit more, and you're going to be able to get a little bit of poke damage, and you have that heal on the W. Very, very useful. His level 6 power spike, when you can actually get their ult, depending on your lane and what champ you're going to be playing, is also super important. So when you're picking your champ, especially if you're picking Silas, you need to make sure that you have a very strong ult in at level 6. Andrew, do you have any like champs in mind maybe that would be super strong if you're playing Silas? Like if you see one champ, what champ would you want to pick Silas into, Andrew?
I would think maybe something like a Malphite or an Amumu or a Morgana, someone that has got a really strong AoE ult that he's going to be able to benefit off from that AP scaling that he has.
Okay, and could you tell me what exactly is a Malphite or a Mumu or Morgana ult? What exactly?
Yeah, so
What do they do?
so Malphite, Amumu, and Morgana, they're all similar in the sense that their ults are going to be a big majority of their kit's power is going to be built into their ultimate.
Okay.
So being able to steal that as Silas is going to be really strong.
Okay.
All 3 of the ultimates give you some CC, which is going to stun or slow down the enemies in some way.
Okay.
It's also going to give you massive damage because it's going to allow you to hit as many members of their team that are grouped up together at one time.
Okay.
So I just think overall Silas is a really good counter pick if you're able to see those picks come through beforehand.
Okay, so you'd recommend like if they have like a again Malphite or a Mumu, that be like a good like mid-game team fight type of champ that you'd wanna be picking around. So let's say enemy team locks in Malphite, you're definitely gonna want to lock in that Silas for that mid-game fight. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's my line of thought here.
And just one last thing. What else did we learn? We learned about how to overcome these problems such as range v melee in Silas's laning phase. So we can use his Q in order to poke out range champs. And if it's a melee champ, you can use that W to really get that heal so you have a lot of lane consistency, yeah? But I think we learned a good deal amount of Silas today. What are some of his power spikes, his weaknesses, how he can be used, and how to come over some of his like massive problems. So I just wanted to thank everyone here today for tuning into the stream. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, please let me know. And just thank you. You guys have a good one now.